Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my show. My name is Meerkat, and today is Friday, May 29th, 2015, and I'm very excited the weekend is here. Very, very excited. I do have to work tomorrow, which kind of sucks. But that's okay. Overtime. Everybody loves overtime. Well, not really. Anyways, you came here to find out about the Drawn Out Mage deck. Now, this is a deck that I created. I posted it on Hearthstone.com. I've posted it on Reddit. I've posted it on LiquidHearth.com, as well as my Facebook page, which you most likely don't have. But in any case, this is a deck that I crafted. It relies heavily on doing some draw cards, as well as controlling your opponent with controlling spell cards like a Blizzard and Cone of Cold, and then finishing off your opponent with either the Alexstraza or the Pyroblast or the combination of direct spell damage cards in some sort of fashion. So let's go ahead and kick off the list here. We got 2 Icelands cards, 2 Frostbolts, 1 Bloodmage Thalnos, 2 Doomsayers, I always have a hard time saying that card, 2 Doomsayers, 1 Kobold Geomancer, 2 Loot Hoarders, 2 Mad Scientists, 2 Novice Engineers, 2 Frost Novas, 2 Ice Blocks, 1 Cone of Cold, 2 Fireballs, 1 Polymorph, 2 Gnomish Inventors, 2 Blizzards, 2 Flamestrikes, 1 Alexstraza, and 1 Pyroblast. A couple of things right off the bat. I've got 2 Mad Scientists and only 2 Ice Blocks. Those are my only 2 secrets. I'm okay with that. I feel like having Ice Barrier is not really necessary, even if you're playing against an aggro type of an opponent. I mean, I guess it could help, but I don't know. I find that having just 2 Ice Blocks and then 2 Mad Scientists helps me draw into those Ice Blocks even faster, and I don't really need to use Ice Barriers themselves. Like, you'll find another controlling type of mage decks. We've got a total of 7 draw cards. We got the Bloodmage Thalnos, we got the 2 Loot Hoarders, the 2 Novice Engineers, and the 2 Gnomish Inventors. I feel like that's a good amount of card draw. The reason why I didn't put Arcane Intellect or Acolyte of Pain or Cold Light Oracle in this deck, for that matter, is the fact that I do not want to be able to have to, or I don't want to have to burn any cards, especially those cards that I'm really going to need at the end of the game. I find that if I have an Arcane Intellect or even an Acolyte of Pain can be the worst sometimes. If your opponent sees it, you've got 9 cards in your hand and you've got a 1/3 Acolyte of Pain on the board in play, you're going to have a bad time. Especially if your opponent is able to do 3 points of damage 1 point at a time within the same turn, they'll burn like 2 or 3 cards. So that is the reason for the draw cards that I do have in this particular deck. I find that this actually works well. It's got a good curve to it. It's got a good amount of card draw to it. It keeps the card draw flowing without feeling like you have to dump a card or waste a card, because you don't want to burn any cards that you have by having a full hand of 10 cards. Whew! Anyways, for the mulligan, you want to draw nothing but card draw and control. In this case, I'm going to hold on to the Cone of Cold because I've got 2 other card draws. I'm going to throw back the Frostbolt. Don't need it right now. Frost Nova, perfect. Alrighty. We're playing against the mage here. Looks like we're playing against a mech mage. With that being the case, I have no problem burning this card and popping him off. So in this particular deck, it's all about controlling your opponent's board. Not necessarily controlling the board by having minions of your own on the board, but actually being able to get rid of his minions or stalling out his minions and getting to the end of the game. The end of the game is really where it's all at. You want to try to draw as much as you can at the beginning and the middle of the game. Try to pop your Ice Block, get down your Mad Scientist to get the Ice Block and things like that. Freeze up your opponent's minions, obviously, with the Frost Nova, the Cone of Cold, the Blizzard. Put things down and play like Doomsayer to throw them all off. And speaking of which, Doomsayer is another card that I want to talk about here. So in this particular case, I threw out a Doomsayer without dropping a Frost Nova or a Cone of Cold or something like that. So one thing to think about when you're playing Doomsayer, in my opinion, a lot of people misplay him. What people like to do is they'll wait till like turn 5, they'll drop down a Doomsayer, and then they'll drop down a Frost Nova. They'll be like, alright dude, sweet, I've got the Bold Frozen Nip and I got a Doomsayer in play. Sweet deal, right? No. The problem with doing that is a lot of times in the beginning portion of the game or even the middle of the game, your opponent is going to be able to get rid of it. Shadow Word Pain, a Silence, Iron Beak Gal, things like that. You're going to have a very difficult time being able to pull off that combo. Now, when you want to do that combo is at the end of the game. After your opponent has tried to use removal cards on your stupid cheapy little guys like the Gnomish Inventors or the Novice Engineer or whatever. Now, it's possible that he might save it for the end of the game anyways, but you're going to have much more of a better chance of being able to avoid direct removal of your Doomsayer or a silence of your Doomsayer if indeed you do wait until the end of the game to drop it down and then drop down like a Blizzard or Cone of Cold or something like that. Okay, so now, what do we want to do? I think what we could do here, so I could Frost Nova, and then I could pick into him, and the next turn I could do a Blizzard. I think that's what I want to do. I'm going to Frost Nova, I'm going to pick into the Mana Worm, end the turn. So next turn I can drop down the Blizzard. Don't have any card draw right now, but that's okay. I've got a total of 3 cards that do direct damage. So when you do get to the end game, you want to drop down your Alexstraza, use it on your opponent, or you want to try to do a Pyroblast, or some kind of combination thereof. There's not necessarily only one win condition that makes this like a one-turn kill type of deck. In fact, this doesn't even have the potential to be a one-turn kill deck because it does not have the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drop down the Blizzard. Now, the reason I dropped down the Blizzard instead of a Cone of Cold and followed up with the Fire Blast is because I really am a big fan of holding on to the cheaper controlling cards like Cone of Cold and Frost Nova for the end of the game, because then you can easily do more tricks like throw in an extra Frostbolt Ice Lance combo or pop off that extra Ice Block without worrying too much about your, even though that would be 9 with the Blizzard. But anyways, I like keeping the cheaper cards for control later on. Okay, so I think this will be perfect. I'll go ahead and drop down a Gnomish Inventor. It's probably a Mirror Entity, most likely, but that's okay. Yep, totally fine. I'm going to drop down the Ice Block now. Hopefully he does not have a Kirin Mage, which in this case, the type of deck that he's playing, I do not believe that's what he's got in his hand, or in his deck, for that matter. So this turn, we could be seeing the double Fireball combo, which is not what's going to happen, so that's good news. Next turn, I could go ahead and pop out the Flamestrike. Okay, cool. So I've got, what, 4 cards that do direct damage? And I've got a minion here who can do damage as well. So next turn, he's definitely going to probably trigger my Ice Block. So let me think, how much damage can I do here? I can do a total of 6, 12, 16, 17, 18 points of damage. Not enough. So what I would like to see is him have another Fireball, throw it in my face, trigger the Ice Block, and keep me at 7 health. But I don't know if that'll happen. Alright, well, first things first, always do card draw if you're going to try to dig for something. Do the card draw first. Okay, I got a Frost Nova. So I think I'm going to do the Cone of Cold here. Then I'm going to attack into him, I believe. I'm going to freeze him up. Now, if he throws down the Fireball, it's going to trigger my Ice Block. It's not going to be the greatest thing for me, but at least I'll still have 7 hit points. If he drops down another minion, I'll be able to just get rid of it with a Flamestrike, which it looks like that might be what I'm going to be doing here. Maybe. He's going to drop down a Fireball. No Fireball. Okay. So next turn, he might actually... Okay, this is good news. He did 1 point of damage to me, so now I'm at 6. So when I do the Flamestrike and get rid of everything off his board, he's not going to have the Azure Drakes to do the increased spell damage. So if he would have left me at 7 and he had a Fireball in his hand, I got rid of everything on his board, he throws a Fireball at me, it drops me down to 1 hit point, and then he triggers my Ice Block by doing a Fire Blast, then that would put me in a lot of trouble. But he did pick me down to 6, so I want to get rid of everything like this. Ta-da! And he's got nothing that he can play. So now I'll attack here, attack here. So if he does drop a Fireball next turn, it's going to keep me at 6 hit points when this guy triggers. Drop down the Loot Hoarder now, try to get as much card draw potential as I can. Now if he does trigger the Ice Block... Okay, so this is good news. I do not think he has a Kirin Mage. I don't believe I'm going to be dying this particular turn, which is great. Aha! So we're going to be doing a lot of damage here now. If only I had one of my spell damage cards. So he got 3 fireballs in his hand, which means that this turn he's gonna, or I mean, I'm sorry, the next turn he's gonna trigger my ice block, and then the turn after that, immediately trigger my ice. What? He kept the Archmage Antonidas in play, and wow, interesting. Not something I would have done. Okay, what is the most effective thing to do here? I can do 12, bring him down to 11. Following turn, I could do 3 plus another 8. It's another 11. So that would kill him. Now he could have an ice block, which I want to think about for a hot second. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do that. Actually, I played that the wrong way. I should have killed my Loot Hoarder, but that's okay. That is okay. Alright, so I'm gonna... Let me think. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Bringing him down to 9. Followed up with the Fireball, bringing him down to 3. Frostbolt won't be very effective. Now if I do the Fireball, Pyroblast, it'll be a total of 13 points of damage, bringing him down to 9. I can do 3, bring him down to 6, and then 4, bring him down to 2, and then that. Okay, that's what I want to do. Okay, cool. The other good thing about this too is if I do draw into a Pyroblast next turn, boom, game over. If he drops down an ice block, which hopefully he doesn't, that kind of might screw us up here. But if he does drop down an ice block, I can get him down to 1 hit point and then trigger the ice block. It all depends on what he does here. Now that was a very smart play by him. He got me down to 1 hit point and then he's going to trigger my ice block. Now if he doesn't have an ice block, he doesn't have a heal, he's definitely dead next turn. I don't know what's taking him so long to decide. He's throwing a fireball to get rid of that. You know, sometimes that's what happens. You have these really dumb, cheap cards, and they'll use big spell cards on them. Now, granted, he's got like 7 fireballs in his hand, but whatever. That's besides the point. Alright, so he's got no ice block, and he's pretty sure that I'm dead, but in fact, I am not dead, because you are now dead. Bye-bye! Ta-da! And there you go! That is the drawn-out mage deck by yours truly. That's pretty much it. It's a very simple, plain Jane type of deck with a very straightforward concept. Get as much card draw as you can, control the board as much as you can, survive to the end, and then figure out a way to kill off your opponent with what you have left in your hand. Go back into the deck one more time just to kind of talk about a couple of more things. So again, you want to, like I said, get as much card draw at the beginning, so mulligan for all the card draw, mulligan for your Loot Hoarder, for your Novice Engineer, yeah, your Mad Scientist too. Definitely don't get rid of a card draw card for a Mad Scientist, that's for sure. Anyways, so mulligan for card draw at the beginning. Bloodmage Thalnos, throw him back. You don't need him at the beginning. That's the one card draw that you do not want a mulligan for. Aside from that, hold on to your Frostbolts, hold on to your Ice Lance cards, hold on to your Fireballs, and hold on to your Pyroblast for... Oh wait, I'm sorry. Don't hold on to them in the mulligan, I should clarify. Keep those cards to kill your opponent at the end. Don't use them on enemy minions unless you absolutely have to. But I would recommend not doing that. You do have a Pyroblast, you do have an Alexstraza, so you're not going to be able to necessarily kill your opponent in one turn. But you have enough flexibility here to where if you need to, you can use the cheaper spell cards to get rid of something and then follow it up by throwing a Pyroblast or dropping down the Alexstraza on your opponent at the end. And sometimes in a pinch, Alexstraza can help you out, bringing you back up to 15 if you've been triggered with your ice block being popped and you're down to 1 hit point and your opponent's got nothing in the hand. He's got like one cheapy little minion on the table. Drop down Alexstraza, heal yourself up. You'll be sitting in a really good position, especially if you have a Pyroblast. He can't get rid of it next turn. You'd be doing 18 points of damage, which is a lot. So, yep, folks, hope you enjoyed the video. That's about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to be posting more videos. I'm up to 134 subscribers, so thank you very much for everybody that has subscribed to my channel. I'm definitely going to be committing more to making videos. Definitely want to be spending a lot more time throughout the week doing research and trying to figure out best decks, and also propose my own deck ideas like in this video. So, yep, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed my show, and until next time, my name is Meerkat.